And before we get into the video, make sure you guys go ahead and check out Real Time Fantasy Sports. All their information is in the description. They're a great fantasy football and fantasy baseball site. Make sure you guys go ahead and check them out. Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be going over 5 players that I'm really excited to watch during the Washington Commanders training camp, ranging from big name guys to small name guys. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. Also hit that like button and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. And just a quick reminder, this is a pre-recorded video. I'm recording this on July 10th, so if anything, if I say anything that's outdated, that is why. So, training camp, from when this is, going to be posted, it's right around the corner. So I'm going to be going over 5 players that I'm super excited to watch during training camp. So the first one, this one is obvious, and that is Jhin Dots. And we've been hearing some great things from him in, from OTAs and minicamp. We saw some great clips, and now it's training camp. So it's another step, and let's see if he's able to, take that great play from minicamp and OTAs to training camp. And I'll probably be there for a couple days and also be there for the practice on August 6th. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Also excited to see what he can do with Carson Wentz and also with Terry McLaurin next to him, because I think, he could be the number 2 option on this offense. After the draft, I was kind of thinking it would be Terry and then Curtis and then Jhin. But the way he's been playing, it might be Jhin as the number 2 option, and it probably will be. And, I'm expecting big things from Jhin Dots in his rookie year. Coming out of the draft, one of the most pro-ready receivers, so definitely, like I said, expecting big things for him, probably around, 700 plus yards, and I think it's a successful season. But I definitely could, my prediction, I think I said it earlier in a stream, about 820 yards. I think that was my prediction. I know that's a lot, but, he's going to be the number 2 option on this team, in my opinion. He's developing some really good chemistry with Carson Wentz, and I know I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but I really think he's going to be a solid receiver in this league and eventually could be a guy that's, consistently getting in that 900 to 1100, 1200 yard range. We'll see. The sky's the limit for Jhin Dots, and you see the way he carries himself and everything like that. You absolutely love to see it, and I'm excited to see what he does in training camp, being the number 2 option, not being the number 1 option like he was in, OTAs and minicamp. Also, guys, comment down below what players are you excited to see during Washington's training camp, because that's when everything starts to get real. Everyone puts the pads on. Everyone knows that, there's bigger stakes to this. The roster battles are heating up, so it's definitely more intense than minicamp and OTAs. Next guy I'm excited to see is another rookie, and that is Percy Butler, 4th round pick this year for the Washington Commanders. Safety, free safety, special teams, special teams stud. That, at the very least, he's going to be a really solid special teams player for the Washington Commanders in 2022, but he is going to be competing for that Buffalo nickel spot with, Derek Forrest, maybe Benjamin St. Jude, but Benjamin St. Jude's most likely going to be in the slot. But he's going to be competing, and, Derek Forrest has been, from what we've heard, it was, getting more first-team reps at the Buffalo nickel position than Percy Butler. But Percy Butler is a rookie. He's still learning a ton, so he definitely could overtake that spot by the time training camp is over, by the time the season starts. And he has a lot of potential, like one of the high upside guys they drafted in this year's draft versus some of the other guys where they have more of a higher floor but a little bit of a lower ceiling. But he has, really, really good speed. Really, he's super explosive, big hitter. Like, he's got a bunch of tools to be a really good safety. Like Chris Sims said, he is the best pure free safety in the draft, and we'll see if that's the case. But he has the tools, and now it's up to him and the coaching staff to put that together for him to actually be one of the better free safeties in the league, or even be a solid free safety, because that would be good for the Washington Commanders. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he develops. But at the very least, he's going to be playing on special teams, and might allow for them not to keep Troy Apke, because they got 2 really solid special team players in Percy Butler and Derek Forrest in the last couple years at the safety position. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he develops over the course of, of training camp and then the preseason. So yeah, next guy on this list is Dyami Brown, and had a disappointing year for sure in his rookie year. Had a disappointing year, 12 catches, 165 yards, really did not do much. Coming out of UNC, 22 years old, 6 foot, 195 pounds, but he obviously was at fault for it at last year, but Heineke also did not do him any favors. Like, there was many times where Dyami Brown's open, going down like on a go route, wide open for like a 30, 40 plus yard gain, and Heineke just doesn't see him or misses him. So like, there was a lot of those times early on in the season when Dyami Brown was getting a ton of snaps, and Heineke just wasn't capitalizing on it. And then Dyami also wasn't doing much besides that, so then he kind of got less and less snaps and then went over to special teams. So definitely expecting bigger things from Dyami this year. He said he feels more comfortable. He's had more time to work in this off season because there's been less restrictions and everything. So I'm not expecting a big year for Dyami. Like, I'm not expecting 700 plus yards. That would be nice, but, we have to be realistic. He had 165 yards last year, and he played pretty much every game, I believe. So if he can get you 15 games, he played 15 games. If he can get you 400 yards, that to me is a successful season. And then in year 3, that's when he takes that leap. Maybe he goes from 450 in year 2 to 700 in year 3, like to be a solid number 3 receiver. So I think that is realistic expectations for him, but excited to see in training camp how he compares to the other receivers. How does he compare to Cam Sims? How does he compare even to someone like Curtis Samuel in terms of the amount of targets he's getting, who he's working with? Is he working with the first team? Is he working with the second team? Or even the third team? Who knows? I expect him to work with the second team, behind Jhin, Curtis, and Terry, and then he'll be working with that next group. So yeah, we'll see, and if he's working with that second or third team, second team will be Heineke, but he'll be working with Hal as well, if they throw in Hal as a second team quarterback sometimes, because they like to, mix things up, change things up so that everyone's working with each other. So Dyami Brown might get some reps with his, college quarterback, which I'm sure he would love that for sure. But yeah, Dyami Brown, I think I say the same thing with Jamin Davis. We can't expect him to take a huge leap into being a great player in his second year, because I just think that's unrealistic. But if he can take a sizable leap, like, go from 165 to in that 400 to 600 yard range, that is good enough for me. And yeah, let's see. So next guy on this list, this guy's an obvious guy, but that's Carson Wentz. We all know I'm nervous and excited to see him, but in training camp, it's going to be exciting to see an actual, quarterback with great arm strength, with like an actual NFL arm. Heineke has an NFL arm, but I'm saying like a good one. Carson Wentz has really good arm talent, and last year was solid. 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. We know the whole deal. There's a few times where they needed him to step up, and he wasn't able to do so. But it wasn't just him; it was the defense and other pieces around him. Didn't have a great receiving core, tight end core. Offensive line was, I think, second to last in pass blocking, which is crazy. People don't remember that. So but Carson Wentz in this offense with Scott Turner, in training camp, it's a little bit more they're still experimenting a little bit. So I'm, like I said, going to be there for a couple of days. So it'll be interesting to see, him take a little bit more risks versus like in the actual game. He's a quarterback that takes risks, but he's going to be taking more risks in training camp and getting a feel of how, these receivers are running routes. I didn't put Terry on this list. I'm excited to see Terry, but we know what we're getting from Terry. But I'm excited to see what Carson Wentz and Terry McLaurin's connection is. We know Carson Wentz and Jhin have a good connection. Now let's see Terry and Carson have a good connection. I'm also excited to see Terry and Jhin work together. The whole receiving core, like Kurt and the trio with Curtis, Terry and Jhin, seeing them in training camp will be fun compared to the last year's where we've had, Cam Sims is number 2. I love Cam Sims, but he's a rotation receiver. Dontrell Inman, Roger Badette, Jeff Badette, Robert Foster, Adam Humphries, just guys that are nowhere near number 2s that were for us, AGG even for some games over the last few years. So yeah, I'm excited to see what Wentz can do, because we haven't had a quarterback like him with the arm talent he's had in a long time, definitely since Kirk Cousins. But I think Carson Wentz has more arm talent than Kirk Cousins does. But I think like Kirk Cousins at the moment, I think is a better QB. But Carson Wentz at his peak, much better than what Kirk Cousins' peak is. But yeah, Carson Wentz has a chance to, I mean, he is the X factor for this team. Like if he can play really well, this team is going to do well, like almost guaranteed. If he plays like he did in 2018, 2019, of course, 2017, they're going to make the playoffs. I can almost guarantee that. But if he disappoints, then that's where you're like, okay, maybe they're 8 wins, 7 wins, maybe at most 9 wins. So, I'll be nervous and excited to see him in training camps, see the difference between Heineke throwing the football and Carson Wentz. I think it's going to be a big difference, and we'll see that in training camp. And I'm excited to see how different the offense looks with a guy that can actually throw the deep ball. So, yeah, that'll be exciting for sure. And then the last guy on this list, I had to throw a defensive player, and then we'll go through some honorable mentions, is Benjamin St-Juste. Coming into his second year, we didn't get to see much of him last year because of the injuries, the concussions, really unfortunate, but also very concerning. Concussions are never good, especially too early on in his career. But, he was up and down in his rookie year. There was times where he showed some really good flashes and a couple games where he definitely disappointed, but he didn't play much. He played like 7 games, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, played like 7 games, weeks 1 through 3, and then weeks 5 through 8, I believe. But yeah, definitely had some good plays. Like I think in the Packers game, he had some, nice reps against Devontae Adams. And there were some other games, as well, where he played really, really solid. I remember it's a preseason, but the Bengals game, I remember he had some really nice pass breakups and was playing very, very well. So he has that potential. And from what we've heard this offseason, he's been doing really, really well in OTAs and mini camp. They've had him in the slot, and he's more of an outside guy. Usually guys who are like lengthier, 6'3", are more outside guys, but they're gonna try him out in the slot because they have a big need at the slot. But maybe by the time I uploaded this, they sign another guy. But regardless, I'm excited to see what Benjamin St-Juste can do because he's got the tools, he's got the right mindset. Now he's just got to stay healthy and fix a few things up, like sometimes a little bit too handsy, get some penalties. But I'm excited to see what he can do because he seems like a really good guy. He's got that right mindset, like you always hear him say, 1% better every day. I love that quote that he says almost every single day going into the practice. So love that from him. And again, he had flashes last year where okay, this guy can be something special, not necessarily an elite corner, but he can be a starting NFL cornerback. So we'll see if he's able to do that, and he's versatile as well. So that is it for today's honorable mentions. Jamin Davis was going to put him, but I'm kind of nervous / excited to see him. And then I would say Cole Turner's another guy, Sam Cosmi, John Bates, a bunch of the younger guys. You can throw in some of the tight ends as well, Armani Rogers. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.